Hey, here's a joke. What days are the strongest? Saturday and Sunday. The rest are weekdays. Hey, this is video number 4 of my series on copywriting every Monday and Wednesday in November. Last time I showed you some quick edits to make the text shorter on the Breather Planner website. And today what we're going to do is we're going to change the voice. In video number 1, I told you there's 3 things we're going to try to aim for. The first one is we're going to work within our means. The third idea is that we're going to be centering our copy on helping the buyer make some progress. We covered that in the past 2 videos and talking about jobs to be done. But today we're going to concentrate on idea number 2. We're going to try to, as much as possible, to make the voice of our text sound like something that we normally use to make it in agreement with our own sensibilities as I said it. So before we get into some more edits, I want to show you the before and after of the edits we did last time. I went really quick last time. Now we're going to go section by section to see what changed. Here's the top of the page, the first entry page. I wanted to make this shorter. Before it was see a full page view of your month, with enough space to breathe, write notes on the side or in the blank page and the back. Here I say about the fact that it's 13 months. Shipping in early December, pre-order before November 22nd. Now I shortened it to just say, same thing at the top here, with enough space for notes and space to breathe. That's kind of yuck, I don't like this. And I also don't like that I'm not mentioning that November 22nd is the deadline. Note that I was pretty confident that I could remove a bunch of stuff from the top for 2 reasons. It was enough for people to decide whether or not they were in the right place and decide to scroll down. So that was fine. Also, I wanted to bring up the picture, and the picture would entice people to scroll. And also the fact that you see the full month. That says the overall message that I wanted to show. Let's now look at the first picture in the first section. Overall, this was kind of lengthy. I didn't like the fact that it was so long. And the point of this was to communicate that you see the full month. Before it was, this is what the full month view looks like. Everything was removed except the dates and boxes. I decided that that wasn't so necessary. Right outside the boxes is a heading, and it just sort of pops out, so that was neat. On the right, you see the improved version. There's 3 bold text. And the thing is that people don't read a page, they scan with their eye. And so the first words of paragraphs are really important. Over here, I wanted to make these 3 things pop out. Right outside the boxes, how big, how many months. Could have been how small, but that would sort of indicate that it was a small planner. How big implies that it's bigger than it is small. Overall, the text is shorter and more to the point, and I like it. In the second section, it used to be colored text and colored lines, and then a bunch of text over here. And the paper is nice and thick. That was the second sort of message. The core message, I tweaked it a bit, and I also made everything shorter so that it's more scannable. So I think this is overall improvement. So over here, I'm saying entire different text, and it says some color so your writing pops out, as opposed to just black lines, for example. The paper has nice texture, and it's thick enough. And so if the eye comes here and they're attracted to this and they continue reading, the message that it's thick is right away there. So they can stop there, or they can continue reading the sentence if they'd like, but the message has come across. The last image plus text section is all about the fact that there's extra pages in the back. And over here I said blank pages for notes, and the fact that there's exactly 13 half-page spreads in the back for your notes. I decided to ditch that. But I like the idea of using use cases. So like you could use it for birthday gifts, ideas, and stuff like that. So extra blank pages for notes was all I needed to say. Not how much. For gift ideas, for doodles, and for that broader before the end of the year list. And I thought that was pretty good. I guess I could still add, how many pages that is, but maybe I could say 13 blank half pages are in the back, something like that. In this section where I was taking a stance to say, well, this monthly planner is good instead of, and all the things you could be switching away from, like typing things into your phone, and that was irritating. And I didn't touch any of this text because I thought it was okay, it said the right things, but although it just looks like a wall of text, and maybe that could be improved somehow, I haven't made up my mind yet. The story has been made shorter, just a tad. Now remove the word though. I just went straight into the affirmative. I didn't change anything about the FAQs, and the bottom of the page is also not changed. I didn't make it shorter. So today we're going to take this text and we're going to make it in a different voice. We're going to try some things. And so like last time, I'm going to take this text out and I'm going to improve it in a separate document, and then after that I'll bring it back in. Afterwards we're going to do before and after. So when changing the voice, there's a bunch of approaches I can take. I can try to speak goofy, which I can do. I can concentrate on my values, and not because I'm going to rant on that on the website, but because I can center myself on that and just put that on, as opposed to put on the idea that I have to sound like something else. If I just get really close to what I know about myself and how I would sound normally if I would talk to somebody. This website is not about me, it's about the product, but still, as I'm preparing to do this, put that inside of my mind as a preparation, then that would help me get the kind of wording that I like. Also to note that if you've got a ton of visitors, like 10,000 a month, then there are ways for you to tweak text and to do A/B testing, it's called, to see which variation gets more sales. We're not there yet, but what you can do is you can center on being honest, and that's always going to pay off. Of course, you can still be honest with yourself and then do A/B testing and then figure out that there's a wording that you wouldn't use but is actually creating a lot of sales, but you're always better off just being your own self. And also, so long as that you're making sure that we're following advice number 3, which is to help somebody, a real person, make progress in their life, and that your product is helping them too. So you have to have that, doing both of those two things. Have empathy for yourself and have empathy for the person's progress that they were trying to achieve. And I think that's possible. So let's give it a shot. So here's how it came out. I didn't want to get too chatty. I didn't want to get too, conversational, but I wanted to make it less robotic or less about just the facts. I wanted to add a bit of an edge, and thinking that people who know me would maybe recognize me in this one. So one of the ways that they can recognize me is if there was a lot of goofy, puns and things, but I didn't think it was too appropriate for this website. At the top, I changed the big header because this monthly planner business is the second line, and those are the first words of the line, and so that was good enough for me. But making this as a statement, don't fill this one up, I just thought that would be eye-catching. I needed to add a bit more stuff here just because I wanted to make sure that be sure to pre-order, etc. Let's look down. In this case, I'm going for, instead of just saying see the full month, I said zoom out to see the month. It shows what you're moving away from and why you're hiring this planner instead, is to zoom out. I say here it'll fit your stuff right outside the box, which is a bit of a pun, as opposed to think outside the box. It's right outside the box. And here I'm saying explicitly, because my wife uses it that way herself, I added plenty of space to the right for to-dos, etc. And so you see how I'm just going for what sounds better for me. Take it for a fold instead of see how it looks. I just thought it was a nice way to say it. And also the button here says print a sample, which is more direct than try a sample PDF. I just thought that was more obvious. In here, the title is the same, and I'm changing it just a bit. That green will give you just enough contrast against the black or blue of your pencil or pen. You'll like the paper. Instead of just the paper has a nice texture, I said you'll like the paper. It's a little textured. You'll find the thickness to be just right. And I hear myself saying things like that. Like I told you last time, maybe this is a place where I can just add a bit about the fact, how many pages are available. Here I claim that this is enough to last you a whole year. We planned for enough space in the back for that stuff. I decided here to make a lot of edits because I didn't like how not easy it was to scan with the eye. And a written monthly planner, I was toying with just a paper monthly planner and then keeping the instead ofs and not have them, all caps. But in this case, it looks nicer just with a lot of this instead of. It's sort of obvious. Tapping into your phone is something, you see this, it doesn't really fit with the rest. Instead of, oh yes, okay, I get it. then you continue reading and you sort of get the idea behind the whole section. And it's easier to scan and it's punchier. So sometimes it's quicker to write it down, right? And so that's the kind of words that I would be using myself. You know, I take a stance. There's a free spot in your calendar. Don't fill it, and it's all in the same spot. A monthly view takes you away from the daily chase. And the story hasn't been touched. Neither has the FAQs, and I didn't touch the thing at the end. So most of my edits were at the top where I thought they were needed. And a small thing too is in the menu here, print a sample. Used to be try a sample PDF. Next time we'll be looking at another site that I'm doing copywriting on. It's on personal development. It's called the Change Anything Kit, and it's to help somebody who think that they're up against something that needs to change. And they're a bit of a reformer type, meaning that they care deeply about changing things for the better, and they'd like some help to do that. They see an opportunity, they have a talk with their supervisor coming up, or they would like to prepare for an important conversation with a friend of theirs or with a family member, and you know the holidays are coming up, etc. And so this page is going to be talking about that service, a coaching service, and also some information that they can learn, possibly a course. And so we're going to tweak this text in the next couple weeks. If you'd like to be notified when that video is up on Wednesday and you're on YouTube, you can click below to subscribe, and see you Wednesday.